positive, unifying and uplifting. Standards are judges. And do we always live up to them? No. They're things to aim at, you know, because today I've been on Twitter and I've been engaging in the comments and doing, frankly, what a lot of people would call shit posting. But whenever I, you know, am to be found in the comments, correcting grammar and punctuation, I see it as my duty, you know, to uphold certain standards. Because to me, for example, the English language is one of the most profoundly beautiful and impactful languages. And people say, oh, you know, it's the language of tyranny and colonization. But no, I see it as the language of incredible poetry and works of literature and how-to information on how to live a great life, you know. Great psychologists and thinkers, you know, they've expressed themselves in the English language. I think it's a wonderful thing. And it's an unfashionable idea, frankly, to have standards, because, you know, they might exclude people. They might not be inclusive. But this idea of unified, we always apply it to other people, but do we ever really apply it properly to ourselves? Do we actually have a unified philosophy or practice that, when actually put into practice in the real world, that makes a difference? It makes a positive difference. And things, people will write all of this off as sounding really woo-woo and esoteric, and it's like, oh, you know, you're just kind of really flimsy and you don't really know what you're talking about, and it's all kind of about emotions and stuff. But, you know, we're human beings. We have wants and needs, we have desires, we have urges, and often it's much easier for people just to kind of give in to their baser selves. But for me, I fundamentally believe that the more division that there is, and the less understanding there is of why people behave in the way that they do, I see all of that as resulting in war. But if you really consider the idea of being a unified human being purely in yourself, you know, regardless of the consequences or regardless of what people might think about you, just because somebody else thinks something, it can be useful, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're right. And I don't think this is a new thing. I think it's gone on for the whole of human history, that certain people in, you know, positions of authority or power, whatever you want to call it, will subvert the meanings and connotations of certain words to their own advantage, and they will try and manipulate other people. And, you know, often as we've seen, it works, you know. But if you're in charge of your own mind, and you know who you are, and you know that you're doing positive and unifying and uplifting things, you know, for other people, well, that's how we thrive in communities. It's how we can create communities. And not everybody will agree. To use common parlance, people are going to people. They just will. They will do whatever they are going to do, regardless of what you think or feel about that thing. So when you start to actually practice what you preach, I want peace. Okay, then. Well, treat people peacefully. Don't treat people as enemies, because underneath everything, we do want very, very similar things. And if you can actually be the person to foster peacefulness and unity, not in an arbitrary way, but to actually practice it, what you'll find is that all of the messaging that we believe, or that people try and make us believe, it always comes back down to us. It's always down to personal choice. And you'll realise that it's all going to happen anyway. Most of the world is completely out of your control, except how you behave, how you respond to what people do. And believe me, sometimes that means walking away from things, not letting the ego dictate your decisions, but actually allowing your desire for true peace in the world can make a profound difference.